I like playing football, but it makes me very tired. But it's good for my health. But I might get injured. But if you're preparing for an English exam like IELTS or Duolingo English test, you already know it's important to be able to speak for a long time. However, you might be losing easy marks by only using simple connecting words. Words like or, so, and, or, but. In this video, we're going to learn 10 high-level English connecting phrases. This will help you speak for longer, make your answers more natural, and really improve your vocabulary and fluency scores. Let's take a look at the first 2 phrases. When you're looking, see if you can notice what job they're doing. And something else that you might notice is that we only need to use simple words. We don't always need very long, complicated words. We take short, simple words, we put them together into a phrase, and that can still give us a great vocabulary score. So phrase 1, it's also worth noting that. And phrase 2, the other thing to bear in mind is... Now I've got one more phrase, which is my personal favorite. I'll show you that one in a minute. But first, what are these 2 phrases doing? So they're adding an extra point. This is like saying and or also. Let's imagine that we're saying something is good. Let's call it pizza. So we can say one good thing about pizza, and we use one of these phrases, and we say a second good thing about pizza. So then my personal favorite phrase here, phrase 3, is and on top of that. But we don't say it in such a and on top of that. We squash it together. And on top of that, and on top of that, and on top of that. So you could say, pizza tastes really good both hot and cold. And on top of that, it's popular with almost everyone. So it's the 2 separate reasons why pizza is good, but we're connecting them together using that phrase. And if you want to see more example sentences using those 3 phrases, we have some here under the video, and you can check the link to our website as well. Now, imagine that we want to say one reason why pizza is good, and then a reason why it's bad, and we want to connect those 2 ideas. What word or phrase could we use? For example, if we said, pizza tastes really good, it can be a bit unhealthy. What's missing in the middle there? What word or phrase could we use? Did you say, but? It's not wrong. We of course use but. I use but a lot. And we could also use a higher level word like however. It's also fine. But we can do even better than that. What about a short phrase? Something that makes our English sound way more natural and helps us get a better vocabulary and fluency score in our English exam. By the way, at the end of today's video, I'm going to give you a full answer to the question, what are the advantages and disadvantages of remote work using the phrases that we're learning? So stick around for that. So let me give you 2 short phrases that mean but. The first is that being said, and the second, having said that. So our sentence becomes, pizza tastes really good. Having said that, it can be a bit unhealthy. And this way, we're saying a simple idea, but we're using almost a trick to cheat our way to a better vocabulary score by throwing in one of these advanced phrases. Now let's take a look at this sentence. What's missing here? So, pizza is a very flexible food that you can eat in many places. You can take it into the cinema with you. So which word is missing in the middle? Did you say, for example? It's okay, it's not wrong, but I think we can go even better. Remember, here at Last Minute English, we don't believe in just having okay English. We want you to have advanced English, better than your friends, better than your colleagues. And that's why we have our Advanced Skill Builder courses, which are in areas like advanced vocabulary, advanced grammar, advanced pronunciation, and advanced fluency. And you can find the link to all of those down here under the video. So let me give you 2 alternatives to for example. One of them is easy, the other one is a little harder. The easy one is for instance. It's exactly the same as for example, it's just another way to say it. It's less common, so it sounds better when people use it. And we don't say for instance, we squash the words together and we say for instance. For instance. For instance, you can take it into the cinema with you. Then the hard one. I think the perfect illustration of that is that, and then we say something. So I think the perfect illustration of that is that you can take it into the cinema with you. It means exactly the same as for example, it's just much more impressive if you can use I think the perfect illustration of that is that. Now let's quickly go through 3 more high-level phrases that have 3 different jobs, and then after that we're going to look at that full high-level answer using many different phrases. So if you want to explain something again a second time and use simpler words, you can use in other words. For example, this software has a steep learning curve. In other words, it's difficult to learn. If you want to show an action and its result, you can use and the direct result of that is. For example, we implemented a more rigorous training program and the direct result of that is a noticeable improvement in employee performance. And if you want to make a conclusion or stop speaking, of course you can use to conclude, in conclusion, but a more natural one, so to wrap up. So let's see that full answer that has many of the phrases that we've learned. You can also find this full answer on our website. The link is just under here. The question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of remote work? So working from home or not being in the same office together. So let's read through the answer together and you can see the areas where our connecting phrases have been used. So it starts, remote work has become increasingly popular, especially in recent years. One of the major advantages is the flexibility it offers. Employees can create their own schedules, which can lead to a better work-life balance. So that's our first point about why remote working is good. And we're going to add a second point and we say, and on top of that, remote work eliminates commuting time, allowing people to spend more time with their families or engage in personal activities. So that's our second good point about remote work. Then we could say, for example, but we're going to use a better phrase. I think the perfect illustration of that is my friend Sarah, who used to spend 2 hours commuting every day. Now she uses that time to exercise and cook healthy meals. In other words, explaining the same point, remote work can contribute to a healthier lifestyle. Now the question asked us advantages and disadvantages, so now we're going to give the other side. So we're going to use the phrase, having said that, and that means now we're talking about the opposite point, the bad point. Having said that, remote work does have its disadvantages. One of the main challenges is a lack of social interaction. Working from home can lead to feelings of isolation and disconnection from colleagues. So that's the action or situation. And let's see the result. And the direct result of that is often decreased motivation and morale. And then we're going to add a second different bad point about remote work. So we're going to use, it's also worth noting that managing a remote team can be difficult for employers. Communication can be less efficient and tracking productivity can be challenging. Then we get to the end and we could say, in conclusion, in summary, but this one's a lot nicer. So, to wrap up, while remote work offers significant benefits, such as flexibility and time savings, it also presents challenges like social isolation and communication difficulties. So, to wrap up, now you know 10 high-level phrases that you can use in your next English exam to make your answers more natural and logical, and help you get a better vocabulary and fluency score. But of course, this is just one area that you can improve your vocabulary. If you're really serious about getting a high score in your exam, make sure to watch our 6-step guide to getting advanced vocabulary. And it's actually crazy how quickly your vocabulary can improve if you follow those 6 easy steps. So that video is here. I'm Francis from Last Minute English. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.